We're on our demo boat, our 2025 Cranchi M44 HT today on Lochswilly Marina here in Donegal, and we're going to put it through its paces on the water. We're going to do a virtual sea trial video to show you how this boat performs underway. So the first thing we want to do before we set off, turn on our battery isolator switches just with this little remote control. So that's us powered up. Great feature on this boat, you don't have to go hooking through lockers to turn on batteries. Just hit the remote and there we go. Brings the dash to life, brings all the domestic systems to life as well. And we can waken this boat up. To start the engines, you want to have your Volvo screen switched on. We use our key fob to activate the helm. Brings on our ignition switches. We want to make sure that we are trimmed down on both drives, which we are, down to -5 there on both drives. And we hit our start stop buttons. Board and starboard. The way we've got these instruments set up is the gauges are paired, so we can see RPM, red is port, green starboard. They're idling at the exact same speed. These are our temperatures, red for port, green for starboard. You see they've got two individual needles, which is really good. It means that if there is any differences between either engine, it'll be immediately apparent. Fuel level, speed, trim is here. Then we've got our rudder indicator there as well. But we're going to use the joystick to head out anyway. Take control of the joystick with that button, and we'll use that for departing. If we need a wee bit, it's a blowy day today, so if we need a wee bit of extra help, we've got the bow thruster there as well. This boat has been in use for demo purposes over the course of the summer, so we've actually clocked up 23 hours on the engines, so it's well run in. And we're gonna get our chart plotter up as well. This is our autopilot system. Our speed and depth log is here, and yeah, we've got our trim tab controls there. We'll walk through all this stuff when we're out on the water, but for now we're going to let the engines warm up for a minute or two, and then we're going to head out on the water. One of the things that first struck me whenever I first got on the M44 was the helm position. It feels great, you know, it's real, like a cockpit feel to it, but I was slightly concerned that you seem like you're very far away from the bow of the boat and from the windscreen, and the visibility was a bit of a concern for me. But you'll see once we get out on the water, the bow lifts up, you've actually got fantastic visibility forward and out of the two side windows in this boat. This seated helm position here, really comfortable helm seat. I've got the fold down step out, so it's very comfortable sitting position. You've got great visibility through the screen when you're seated, which means longer passengers are really comfortable. Whenever the Cranchi tech was here, the factory tech that they sent over to help us commission this first boat of ours, the 2 or 3 of the guys actually that I spoke to in the factory as well, they were all saying that the M44 is their favourite boat to drive. It's their best driver's boat in the Cranchi range. It's traditional, deep V hull, cuts through chop really well. It's a great performing boat. You can chuck it around like a big sports boat as well. And yeah, it's just a lovely driver's boat. So if you're a fan of actually putting your boat through its paces and spend a bit of time driving, and you're maybe cutting through lumpy coastal conditions, the M44 is fantastic at that. But you'll probably see that today because it's definitely a bit lumpy out there this morning. So we are out of the marina now, and we're on the lock. We're going to put the boat through its paces. So it is pretty windy. The forecast said like 17 kilometers an hour winds. I think we've got about 27 or 30 kilometers. We're just starting to see some white caps there as well. But that's the way it's been going this summer. But because it is windy, I have the roof closed. We've got the side windows up. We have the covers off the back, so it's open at the back, but it's real nice and cozy. It's actually very warm with this. You get the solar gain. Whenever there's a wee bit of sun, it makes it really warm, so it's nice and comfortable. And we're just tootling into the wind, so the wind's right on our beam here at the minute. So for manoeuvring, this boat's a breeze. You obviously can Split the sticks the way you can, like on a traditional boat, if you want to spin the boat in its length and stuff like that. It'll do all those sorts of things. But this boat also obviously has the joystick piloting, so bring your throttle levers back to neutral, hit the docking button. You can get high mode as well if you're out maneuvering like on a windier day like today, and then you've got joystick control, so you can move the boat forwards, astern. You can go obviously sideways, port and starboard, and you can rotate the boat in its own length as well. Then on windier days like today, if it's getting it a wee bit, that's us going into the wind, but if you need a wee bit of helping hand, you've got your bow thruster there as well. So the boat is super maneuverable. I'm on board on my own today. We do have somebody flying a drone to try and get some, we're getting some drone shots as well, but I'm on board on my own. I mean, I could take the boat out on my own, take it into my own. That joystick piloting is really handy and it's a breeze to use. Some of the other things on the dash I want to walk you through briefly. Some of the things to pay attention to as we're running. We're going to get our GPS speed from here. So that's our speed over the ground. So at idle speed into this wind, this headwind, and the tide's also coming in at the minute. There's probably a couple of knots of tide. We're doing about 3 knots over the ground. Whenever I was coming the other way, it's about 5 or 6 knots. So but I'd say on about 4 knots at idle speed. So if you're using this boat on the inland waterways, you know, you've got zero wake, you're gonna be tootling along at 5 knots really comfortably at 600 RPM and burning next to no diesel. We are going to get our speed from there. Sorry, engine RPM is here, and we have engine temperature there, rudder angle in the center. That's about it. We'll have a look at fuel and a wee while, fuel flow information as well. These are your trim tabs. Now they're currently set up to automatically, pretty sure they're on auto. Yeah, they're on auto now. So they'll automatically control the running angle of the boat. You can do it manually as well if you wish. And that's about it. The steering, all the controls, obviously totally fly-by-wire. Goes without saying with the joystick system. But the steering is super light. Throttle and shift is finger light as well. It's just a really, really nice boat to drive. Performance is unbelievable as well. There's a pair of Volvo Penta D6 400 horsepower a piece. So that's Volvo's D6 6-cylinder diesel engines, 400 horsepower each, and they are a really well proven engine. What else do we have here? Ray Marine, so compass head, and that's our autopilot. This is all linked up to the chart plotter as well, so you can see we have some routes plotted there, so you can select a route. The boat will follow it automatically. If you want to just sit back and let the boat do the work. You've got your speed here, we've got our depth here as well. This is speed over the ground, this is GPS speed. Or sorry, speed, yeah, that's speed over the ground, yeah. So they're both the same. Sea temperature. And I think those are the main things that we'll be looking at. We've obviously got our traditional analog gauges up there as well. So RPM, fuel level, and temperature for the two engines. And we're running with just over, well, almost a full tank of diesel at the moment. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm just keeping an eye on this yacht that's creeping its way up the channel. Now we're going to put it on the plane anyway. I think he's far enough away. We'll maybe spin around before we get there. So, okay, here we go. And drive trims are fully down. So my trim angle is -5. I'm trimmed fully down, and I'm going to give her just accelerate her up onto the plane nice and slowly here. You'll notice there's very little bow rise. Superchargers kick in. Do not lose sight of the horizon. And that's us on plane. I can throttle back down to 2600 RPM. And we're doing 20 knots. I'm going to turn before we reach this yacht. Look how you can heel this thing over in the turn. So this is a super maneuverable boat. You can see how tight you can turn. You can chuck it into like full speed turns. It really, the hull is incredibly impressive. Totally planted, just grips in the water. Gets up on plane really easily, even with a full load of passengers on board. There's obviously quite a wee bit of gear in the boat and full tank of diesel, and it's up on the plane no time. Wasn't even giving it like half throttle there, but as soon as those superchargers kick in, it goes. I'm just waiting for this yacht to pass because it does kick up quite a big wake whenever you're up and going, and that's a fairly small little yacht. We're restricted in the channel here, the tide's still coming in today. But yeah, really fun boat to drive, and visibility's good. With the roof open, we'll open that in a wee while. It's obviously, you get 360, you can stand up and stick your head out, with 360 degrees visibility. But yeah, it's a fabulous running boat and a ton of fun to pilot it. Whenever the boat nose does lift up, visibility out through that screen's fantastic as well. But we'll put it on, we'll give it a full throttle acceleration onto the plane now in a minute. You've all the information you can need at hand as well. Let's play around with this screen and see if we can get fuel flow information. So there's fuel. Yeah, so this will tell us fuel flow. So we do not have any, that's the instant fuel flow rate there, is 2.9 litres per hour at this speed, which is just idle. And you're doing 0.8 litres per nautical mile if you're just tootling. Average fuel consumption has been 2.7 litres per nautical mile over the 23 hours that the boat has been ran. That's going to give you a good indication. I wonder, can we get one with fuel and engine info at the one time? Well, yeah, here, this is us now. So I presume this is combined fuel flow. So this is a good screen here. We've got our big tacho in the center, temperature gauge, oil pressures, GPS speed, fuel flow, rudder position, fuel level. So I'm going to leave it on that screen, so at each RPM we can see how much diesel we're burning. So that's the other thing actually about these boats, and pretty much the entire Cranchi range. It's, apart from the smaller entry-level boat, everything else is available with inboard engines. Now some of them have petrol options, but they're not suitable for this part of the world, I don't think. But everything is geared towards diesel inboards, diesel sterndrives. And I know there's a big trend towards outboard powered boats at the moment, and they have their place and they're light and they're really fast and all that sort of stuff. Well, this thing would give most of them a run for their money in performance. But unless you're in a marina or a part of the world where you can get petrol on the dock, it is an absolute nightmare trying to fuel a boat with, say, a couple of 300 or 400 horsepower outboards. Those things are thirsty, especially if you're using all the performance that you have available. And you do find that it gets a bit tiresome after a while. The fact that these boats are diesel, you know, they're tried and tested technology. They're far more economical than petrols. You can get a diesel lorry to fill your boat up anywhere around the country. And I just think, yes, with smaller boats you can put on trailers. Outboards are brilliant, they're the way to go. But on a bigger cruiser where you're covering ground, you're maybe cruising into, you know, unfamiliar harbours and marinas and things, you're always going to get diesel. You're never going to be stuck. And you've got that added peace of mind, you know, better fuel economy. And I just think there's a lot going for diesel boats still to this day. I'm not convinced petrol outboards are the answer on anything like north of 30 foot. But yeah, just my 2 cents. But that yacht's gone now, so we're going to put the boat on plane. We're going to get a full throttle acceleration on the plane, show you how quick it gets up there, and we'll give it a full speed run as well. Okay, so we're trimmed down, tabs are doing their thing. We've got a full throttle acceleration on the plane here. us to 3,600 RPM, 32 knots, into the wind. That's full throttle. Sensible cruising speed, we're doing 2,600 RPM, 19 knots, 75 litres per hour fuel burn. We're taking up a wee touch to like 3,000 RPM. Look how well balanced those engines are as well. Let's do 25 knots here. So that's 3,000 RPM. We're doing 24 knots into the tide and the wind. 90 litres of fuel per hour. RPMs, 25, 26 knots. That's going to be your fast cruise, and we're doing about 95 litres of fuel per hour. So that's how the boat runs. Fabulous boat to drive on the plane in a heartbeat. Those big D6s, the superchargers kick in and you're just gone. Bow drops instantaneously, you never lose sight of the horizon. Fast top end, flat out, we were doing 33 knots, I think maybe it was 32 in the tide, 33, 34 knots flat out. And we're burning about 150 litres of diesel per hour across the two engines. Cruising speed, not your normal cruising speed is going to be around about 2,600 RPM. You're doing 20 knots and you're burning, was it 75 litres of diesel per hour? And then fast cruise at 25 knots and 3,000 RPM, you're burning 95 litres per hour. Again, that's across the two engines. So really nice running boat, and doing, obviously it's split new, still, you know, 23 hours and 24 hours in the clock. It's barely run in, just about run in, which is why we're able to put it through its paces like that. But it's yeah, it's under warranty, it's brand new, everything works perfectly. You can really chuck this thing around like a big speedboat as well if you want to. But yeah, it's just a fabulous running boat. So we'll do one last run. We'll open up the roof and the windows, get the air blowing through it, do one last run. But yeah, even on a lumpy day like today, this boat just feels super solid. It's like a tank that just bombs through everything, cutting back across its own wake as well. Doesn't even take a wrinkle out of it. Even if you've got a big crowd of people on board, you'll still be able to make this thing dance, and it'll be super smooth through the water. So yeah, Cranchi M44 hardtop, highly recommend it. If you're looking for a proper driver's boat in this size category, it will not disappoint. Open the roof. That's what I could do with 3 hands for holding the camera, but this roof, because it's a fabric roof, it folds all the way back as well, which is really nice. So with the roof open on a nicer day, today's not actually that terribly bad, but it's pretty windy. But anyway, you can slide the thing all the way back. It completely floods the whole boat with natural light. You're getting the wind through your hair as well. You stand up on this little fold out teak step that we're on, and that's my eye line. So we're literally, we can see all the way, push that down, you see all the way around the boat. You get great visibility. And yeah, it's like a different boat really with the roof open. And we'll just give it another wee go here. We'll just see, let's just get it running, swing around under the wind. Would be remiss of me to do a sea trail video and not show you one of the coolest features that I think is on this boat, the high-low swim platform. Now, it's super windy, so you're not going to hear me here, but here's how the platform works. This thing will go down, so you can launch a tender off it if you want to keep a tender on the back. You just want to swim off the back of it. So this thing will go down to 30 centimeters below the water level. expensive option, that, but if you are launching a dinghy or a jet ski or something, it's super cool. When you see this now, would be a lot handier if I had somebody else on board as well, but I don't, so. That's cool. What a boat. Thanks for watching.